Soon after black people were emancipated from slavery, there was a need to establish black churches since they were not allowed to have their own churches during slavery times. A faithful few black Christians gathered on Highway 54 West, 2 miles from Fayetteville, Georgia, to worship God and try to organize a church. The first sermon was preached on a large rock. Later, services were held under a brush arbor about 100 feet from the rock. Years later, a church was erected at the junction of Lanier Avenue and Grady Avenue off of Highway 54 near a spring. This building served as a church and school. Years later, Mr. John Graves donated an acre of land, and the members saw fit to build a church at the edge of the field off Highway 54. This is how Edgefield received its name. This church remained there for approximately 48 years. Many Christians, both black and white, gathered and had services across from the city cemetery. Rallies were held to help build another church. Years later, the UBA Society donated land on Church Street. And in the year of 1912, this building was erected under the pastorate of the Reverend G.B. Austin, who pastored for about 35 years. Edgefield Baptist Church, so rich in history, so radiant in love, so resilient in character. Let's hear the stories of Edgefield.
Birthed in the church all my life. Since I was born. Since I was born, yeah. My parents were members here. Grandparents were members here. So I've been here since they first carried me in here into the church.
All my life, ever since I was 2 or 3 years old, my father brought me and my sisters and brothers to church ever since, and I'm still a member of Edgefield today.
I was 12 when I joined the church, and I'm 80 years old now.
Yes, all my life. Since I was about 6 years old.
Since I was joined the church, Edgefield, and was baptized when I was 12 years old, but I was going all the time. And I joined when I was 12 years old. I'm 93 now.
I was a member of the Edgefield for over 30 some odd years.
Wow.
I was born at Edgefield. My mother was a musician there. And I was baptized at the age of 12 in the big pool. And I am currently, my husband, daughter, and I are members of Ben Hill United Methodist Church.
Awesome.
But I always have a fond place in my heart for Edgefield.
Sure.
My dad was a deacon, and my mother was in the choir and also a deaconess.
My mother was a cook. She was a cook at a boarding house.
Wow. And what was her name?
Carrie. She was a stagecoach, but my father was gone when I was 3 years old, and when I was 12, she married a herd. She was a herd when she left, and she moved us down. Well, at first, when I was growing up, there was a little house behind the church.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's where we lived.
Wow.
And then after she married the herd man, then we moved right on Church Street.
Wow. Growing up in Edgefield, we all like to say family member. We lived we lived where we lived. We lived in the country, and most of the people that lived by the church, we all were just like brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So
Oh, it was just everybody family, and the older people watched after you, and well, you know, there's not anything going on like now. It was different. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was number 5. I was the youngest.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the last one living.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're still here.
Yeah.
We're glad you're still here.
Beautiful church. Going on beautiful. Had good speakers, and always singing in the choir.
It was nice. We had some very strict deacons. Deacon was strict. Ushers was strict. We couldn't chew gum as they go come by with a fan and make us take it out. We couldn't go to sleep in the church. So
As always.
Edgefield was a sense of community.
Wow.
It was an extended family.
Wow.
You had a lot of people who loved and corrected you at Edgefield. You had a lot of moms and dads. You had to sit upright. There was no chewing gum. We were not allowed to sit in the back of the church. You had to move up front, and you had to pay attention. There was no sleeping in church.
It was actually fun for me. Now, Sunday school, I was a little bitter most Sundays because I could never be in the same class with my brother and my older cousin. And I always wanted to be with them because they made it seem so fun. I'm like, my class boring. But it really wasn't. It really was not boring. But I just wanted to be with the older cousin.
Just with the first Sunday service, then we went to other churches on those Sundays. Second Sunday, there was no service right here in the city, but sometimes we went out to other churches. But then the third Sunday, we always went down here to Flipper. And then the fourth Sunday, over to Merrill Chapel. You know, Flipper was African Methodist Episcopal Church, and Merrill Chapel United Methodist Church. We went there on the fourth Sunday, and it was just natural. You went to church every Sunday.
And so there was a type of unity.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was just your typical Baptist church. You know, we had the major holiday, major church days, events. But it was just your typical church. Family church. Everybody here was back then related cousins or first cousins. And so it was a family church.
We all shared anything that we needed, we all shared with one another. And that's what made Edgefield one of the most popular churches in the city of Fayetteville. That everybody loved the people. They loved people and they loved the church.
everybody was very nice. Church was packed. This was the #1 church in Fayetteville, Edgefield.
Oh, people came to church in the wagons and, what are those other things?
The buggies.
Yes, buggies and
Yes,
that's the
ma'am.
way. That's
Wow.
that's the way they came from church from way out in the county. This,
Wow.
now it isn't far, but at the time, with the only paved road in Fayetteville was Highway 54,
Wow.
and it wasn't paved any farther than out there on the other side of the traffic light. That as far as it was paved. Peachtree City had not been incorporated.
I was just thinking about
how Edgefield started. You know, we started on a rock, a big rock in the middle of this field. And I remember a picture of one of my great cousins, Deacon C.C. Arnold. He was the first blacksmith in Fayette County. And he did his first sermon on that rock. And therefore we moved to the rock, to the edge of a field, and to this building. And so we have a interesting history. Our fellowship hall was a school for blacks, for black kids. And we have an awesome history in the county, again, as a trailblazing ministry. Open a lot of doors for a lot of people.
But one of the things that also stood out for me were the teas that the ladies had up at the hall.
Talk about that.
The ladies would come together and do decorating of the tables in the hall. And they had a lot of natural elements in those decorations. The tables were very well done with tablecloths and all of that, but they used a lot of natural greenery. They didn't go and buy a whole lot of stuff. They used natural elements, and they would come together and put that on and bring a lot of the good things that they made at home. Nobody, once again, is going to the store and buy things.
Okay.
They actually a lot of
the fond memories that I have of Edgefield was all of the love that we received from the elderly people, the deacons and the mothers.
We used to have a heater right over there. Well, it's gone.
On this side.
Yeah, used to have a heater, and I hate to say it, my grandmama, she was shy, jumped on that heater. You should have seen her jumping off of that heater. So I can't remember her shouting anymore.
Vacation Bible School. Every year. Week long. Going through classes. Always with my age group, could never be with the older kids. But it's all good. They always seem like they had more fun. We would do like what we learned at the end of the week. Lunch was a hit. Always got the little sandwiches that they couldn't have. Yes. Stick to the roof of your mouth, and then you get that punch with those little cookies. Yes. But at the end of the week, they would always take us to Duncan Park, and we would get to swim on that Saturday and have a barbecue.
I always enjoyed on first Sunday in June because it was very exciting for us to get dressed up and walk the streets with teenagers.
What was it like?
It was awesome. At the time, there was a train that came from Atlanta to Fort Valley. The purpose was peaches, transportation for the peaches. And before the first Sunday in June, all the people that had left and gone, a lot of the black men had to leave and go up north. The first Sunday in June, on a train, they came down for first Sunday in June.
We had stands out there. We would walk the street, buy stuff. We would go from Sugar Hill back to Church Street. Sugar Hill, back to Church Street. And that was a big day. Everybody had decked out in fine clothes.
First Sunday in June, those were the major days. That's when everybody came back that had left the church, and everybody came back the first Sunday in June. And it was like a big, major day for the church. Everybody brought food, all the families brought food, and everybody just ate, talked, fellowship, the kids played games. So it was great time, the first Sunday in June.
Absolutely. First Sunday in June was a big thing. We had everybody to come, come back home, and people would participate and just enjoy the fellowship.
It was a big thing to go down on Saturday.
Oh, and watch, who got the people that got off the train.
Wow.
Yeah, we ran down to it's right out here. That was a train, what you call depot.
Yes, ma'am.
It was right out here. And the train came down what we call the street. Up here now, that was train track. I mean, that was a dirt street, but train track ran all the way down, going to Fort Valley.
Sometimes we didn't see some of the members at the church until on first Sunday in June.
Some of the members that had joined before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Everybody would be working. All but me, would nobody carry me to work because they said I wouldn't let the kids work.
We didn't have any way to make money. And the farmers would hire people to, they call it chop cotton, $1 a day.
Wow.
But you go out there to make you some money to buy you an outfit. Oh, you had to have a new outfit for first Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to have a new outfit for first Sunday in June, although you weren't going to church. But they had 2 services.
So they would go to work, buy their clothes. Everybody was looking real good. So was I.
All right.
Saturday, the people came from Atlanta and set up take pictures and food and all the people at the church brought food. We had, food spread out and service in the church. And I have to tell you, when I was growing up, I thought they were having a note singing in the church. Because all we did was walk from Church Street down where Jordan's, that was a little cafe, and had a jukebox in there. We put a nickel in and, all the music.
We had, first Sunday in June, we had 2 services. We had the morning service, then we had an evening service. They served dinner. The morning service, whatever they collected in the morning, went to the church. The evening service, whatever they collected in the evening, it went to the pastor.
Wow.
Sorry, you can't get anything.
It was awesome. The streets were loaded.
Wow.
People.
Wow.
People, and all those people. My mother had 2 sisters that lived in Atlanta, and they would write. People didn't have telephones. They write. Her name was Karine. Karine, put the big part in the little part because we're coming down. And we ran down on Saturday to watch who got off the train. And some people came from like Chicago and Detroit and all those came back for first Sunday. I remember some of the older pastors that was pastors of Edgefield before I joined, but my most vivid memory was of J.C. Clark. That's the one that I joined under Reverend J.C. Clark.
Well, Reverend Clark was the one that
that was your first pastor?
Baptized. And Reverend, I know all of them.
What was Reverend Clark like?
He was good, very good pastor and everything. He didn't live down here, but he voted down. He was down here more than he was wherever he was staying at.
Reverend Clark lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he would come down. We only had service once a month on the first Sunday, and he came down and stayed for the weekend for service, and that was, of course, he was very loving.
He was good looking.
Good looking.
Everybody liked him. But I was young. But everybody liked him.
But Reverend Reed was our first pastor, and he stayed there for a long, long time.
Oh, Reverend C.C. Reed, yes, love him.
Tell us about him. Tell us about Reverend Reed.
Well, Reverend C.C. Reed and his wife, they lived in Atlanta. And of course, for just the first Sunday at church, but Reverend Reed was, I loved him. In fact, we loved all of the preachers. They were very loving.
He was there a long, long time. Oh man, he was a people person. He would come up to you and greet you during church, and then when church was over with, he would go outside the church and be with you. And
he was a good man. I liked him. He used to, like, during the time we had a revival, him and his wife would stay here. Sometimes they would stay over Miss Older. Sometimes they would stay over Miss Bertha.
And talk to you. And I enjoyed his leadership because he was a people person. He just didn't just preach and then, and did his thing. He mingled with the people in the church to make you feel, like a member at church. So I enjoyed him.
Reverend Mitchell, he was a DJ at a gospel station. So he used to love quartet. So we've had some long quartet anniversaries. It's like, whoa. And then we had Reverend Wall. He opened the door for a lot. As far as for Edgefield, he opened the door to a lot of people. And and of course Pastor Thomas, who was here for 14 years, he brought a great shift and a change into the ministry.
Pastor Thomas, my pops, may he rest in peace. He played a major role in my life. When my dad was around, he stepped in big time. So I really appreciate him.
Eddie Thomas, he was a very good minister and everything. Everyone, he walked around and talked to everybody. He treated everybody nice and kind. He always served and tell you right. Already stayed with the young people as well as and talked to all the elder ladies in the church and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
And they kept us straight.
Disciplinarian, father, role model. He always gave words of wisdom, even when we didn't want to hear it.
And we had some sweet mothers and things that always encouraged her to come to church and everything and be obedient. Because my mother, she was very faithful to everybody's children.
I remember Miss Bertha Arnold. She was one, and Miss what's that little Brooks lady? And there's another lady, and I cannot for the life of me remember her name, but there were a lot of them, and they were, when we were baptized and we came out of the pool, and they hugged us and told us how lovely we looked, and we thought we looked like
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they were.
Oh, we had Miss Biddy.
Miss Biddy.
Oh, Miss Biddy. Miss Biddy was a little lady, but a powerful lady. When she spoke, we listened. She was kind of like the person that would watch and make sure that the ladies were doing what they were supposed to do as part of the motherboard, and then just kind of keeping an eye on the rest of us kids and making sure that we were, staying in line. Yeah.
We had what's that lady name used to dance all over the church? I forgot her name. But the Holy Ghost was always in this church. The Spirit was always in this church.
Sister Lana Bell Oldham and Irene, Eleanor, we had some very good mothers.
I can actually envision those mothers. Miss Bertha Arnold, she had a special spot right there on that first pew, on the right side for motherboard, and then behind her was Miss Birdley Owens. Miss Birdley. Who else was back there? Miss Elora was generally in the choir.
Okay.
She, Miss Laney Bell, and Miss Anna Lois. So that was the senior choir member.
All of my cousins, the deacons, was Deacon Wayman Arnold, and he was married to my aunt, and Deacon Cecil Arnold. All the deacons, all the mothers, again, it was like a family. We was family, so everybody made an impact because everybody was related to each other. So
I call her my godmother, may she rest in peace, Auntie Pam. She always did the programs for the church, and I would come down on Saturdays and sit with her while she typed up the programs right in that back room on a typewriter. And after she finished, we would always go to Wendy's. Like Wendy's was her restaurant. But yeah, she took me in as one of her own. She didn't have kids, but I felt like her child.
We had people on the deacon board, the older deacon. I had Deacon Glass. He was a character. He would come in. He had his saying, and then he just was one of them persons that he loved what he did. He loved to pray. That was his thing, praying.
Oh, we had some good deacons too. Deacon Wyman just Deacon Colistar.
The deacons was Rudolph. He was a lake deacon. He used to fish all the time. And my mama cleaned the church, and he was going down the street. I said, "Don't you belong here?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You need to come back to church then and quit fishing." Always been outspoken. They take me wrong, but I be telling the truth. He said, "I just might do that."
And Michael and Azel's dad, we used to call him Mr. Sockeye. Of course, my Uncle Jack. Those were just the very strong adults in our lives. I remember them getting up and putting the two chairs up front to raise the hymn. And so even now, if I'm in a situation where older people are, or a different kind of church, I have that background that I can just, I can sing along, and sometimes people looking like, "You actually know that?" "Oh yeah, I know that."
Rudolph Stinchcomb, that was the main deacon in our church. At least he thought he was our main deacon, because he always corrected whomever you chose.
Okay, it was Paul. It was Mr. Wayman. There was so many deacons over there in that corner. We always had the best choir in Fayetteville. And I don't know if a lot of them remember, we had two musicians. One was Arnetta Armour and Leotra Glass. Arnetta got married.
Would Leotra be later known as Sauter?
Miss Sauter. That's Miss Sauter.
Okay.
So Arnetta got married, and her husband went to Flint Ridge. So she went to Flint Ridge with her husband. So That left me silent. You know I loved that lady.
Yes. Yes.
And
Miss our pianist, Miss Leona Sada.
What was she like? What was she like?
Sweet and loving. She was like a mother too. She always advised us to now sing. You're not singing enough, Mary. Come on here. Laney Bell, you can lead that song. No, you better let someone else sing. She was always sweet and encouraging. When you go to visit us, you find the same person always treat you with love. That was Mother Sila.
My mother, had a piano and an organ at home, and she would practice. She'd have us sing while she's practicing. And at the time, as a young person, you just couldn't stand it. Like, just leave me alone, let me go and do something else. But she would insist. My mother was very strong-minded. She wanted things done well. She wanted them done correctly. And she would stop you if it was not.
Grew up in Miss Sider's children's choir. Yes. It was fun. It's a picture circulating somewhere. Everybody in it. All the cousins. We got to find it. But yeah, I grew up in Miss Sider's choir. And then the next one, when Pastor Thomas came, he was over the children's choir. So we were always doing something, traveling. Edgefield was known for the choirs, the music ministry.
We would have a lot of practices, Saturday mornings and Saturday afternoons for, the choir rehearsals. I think we were one of the choirs, the senior choir, that would be asked to come and sing at different choir anniversaries or church anniversaries.
Family and community, we was in unity. When we got together and everybody worked, we got it done. So I guess I carried with that unity of being united to see whatever the vision was or the purpose was, it was brought to pass. So I think that's mostly really what I carry with me, that sense of community, the sense of family and unity.
Edgefield taught me dedication, being dedicated to something and sticking with it, even through hard times. Persevere through it.
God has spared me to live a long life. Thank you, Jesus. And it means that I feel that He has brought me a long way, because I have went through a lot of trials and tribulations along the way and everything. But God has brought me through. He's a mighty God. He'll serve you if you live right.
Edgefield taught me how to be a Christian.
Wow.
It taught me how to be a Christian, to think about others, think about community, caring for other people.
Sure.
And I got all that from Edgefield.
Wow.
I can get a little choked up about that.
I understand.
Dedication. Being committed.
That's good.
One thing that I really would like for young people to focus on is respect. We were not allowed to disrespect our elders. So if anything I could share with somebody would be to respect your elders.
Yes.
The unity and the pride in who we are and who we are as a ministry. We always was trailblazer. It was a trailblazing ministry. So I think we definitely should carry that over. We was not afraid to try new things, go new places, do new things. So I think we should carry that over, that trailblazing mentality. That we were not afraid to step out and do whatever we want to do.
The word that comes to my mind primarily, Pastor, is foundation. Edgefield gave me my foundation to carry on wherever I am. You know,
So good.
whatever church I belong to is even though the church home is something that you embrace, but it's all about God.
Yeah.
You know, and the God that is in you, you carry with you.
Yes.
And so I would say Edgefield gave me foundation in my Christian journey.
Powerful.
EBC is family, love, a lot. EBC is part of my world. Like, got married here.
Well, it just means that it's a part of my life. It's just, I grew up in Edgefield, and I still love my church.
We love you too.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a part of my life. I've never forgotten.
Home. Home.
That's good. That's good.
Edgefield mean to me is just like my home. I wouldn't give it up. I breathe it. I live it. It's life to me.
It's still in my heart. I still love it. You know that the pandemic, and at my age,
Yes, ma'am.
I've had to lay low. I still try to support the church.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am.
still support the church. My heart's still there. I have not forgotten.
I really do love my church family.
That's
A
good.
lot of lessons learned here.
Purpose. It has always given me a purpose, especially the last 10 plus years. It's all been about purpose. It's given me a purpose. Something to look forward to, basically live for. Purpose.
This is home. And you have to be that been here for many years to love this place. You understand what I'm saying? I haven't went to Edgefield and felt that I was in the wrong place. Sometimes you go to people's churches and everything. It's what did I come down here for? I'm not going to hear nothing. You don't sound like nothing and everything. But I like to have the spirit in the church and serve the Lord.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I prefer people not talking to me when the preacher is preaching.
When the word is going.
It's like a love. When you love something, you just don't let go. And Edgefield is just like my home. I love it. I'll never let it go. And anybody asks me to do something, I'm able to do it. If God will, I'll do it.
You selected to come to Edgefield Baptist Church to join with us and everything. You will find most people here is nice and kind. They speak to you, care about you, and invite you to come and join us on every Sunday. We got these doors open because you will hear the word if you just come and listen.
Well, I would tell them they're looking for a church that we have church here in the city, and that they be welcome.
I would tell them to join the church. I tell them I love you, and I would tell them that you're great. Pastor.
Tell them that once you come in, you want to serve not just yourself, but you want to serve God, and you want to serve the people around you, and let them know that whatever you can do for them in life, you'll do it for them.
This is home. You join this church, you got just as much part as anybody else have in the church.
That's good. That's good. Yes, ma'am.
But you got to join this church.
Be a part.
Yeah.
I would tell them to learn the history. You know, it's good to know the background. Where did this church come from?
Mm-hmm.
What are their traditions? What are their values? And then I would say to get involved. Find where you feel like you fit.
Don't be afraid to use your gifts. Don't be afraid to do what God has placed inside of you to do. You're in a place where your gifts will be received and wanted, so don't be afraid to use your gift. Whatever God has called you to do, don't be afraid to do it. You're in a place and a space where it's welcome.
That we, I think, try to improve upon the church, and try to improve upon yourself too. Having that desire to do the works according to the will of God.
Edgefield will be a church that you'll never forget. It will impact you in some kind of way. Whether you stay, whether you leave, you will never forget Edgefield Baptist Church.
To never give up, but keep doing what the will of the Lord in your spirit. And if you can do that, Edgefield will be the church that everyone would want to seek and serve.
You know, I think I better not talk enough.